Good morning again. So we've done this once and Facebook threw us off, just killed the video in midstream. And I know in the past I've left it up and then did sort of a part two, but we've decided that that's not the way to go. So though this is take two and we're 18 minutes into, and we were already 18 minutes into the live session, we're just going to start from scratch again. So this is Laoshi Lawrence McElroy here for take two of our session for Monday, November 2nd. And by the way, this is our big 3-0. We started these all the way back in March, on March 23rd. And, you know, we've skipped a few Mondays for holidays and vacations and things like that. But this is the big 3-0. We're not 29 and holding. We are at our 30th live session. Yes, for the greater community in this new abnormal, but primarily for that suspended program at Sachem Public Library or Sachem Library in Holbrook, New York, on the Isle of Lynx in the state of New York in the country of the United States. So there's that. We're going to do, as this morning unfolds, I'll have a little warm-up, sort of our standard warm-up for the 5 animal frolics. And then we're going to do a return to the tiger frolics. And this will be the second tiger frolic that we've done since we started these. Actually, the second week, March 30th, on a Monday morning, we did tiger walking, which is the first of the 5 frolics of the tiger. We're going to skip number 2. We'll probably pick it up at some point in the future. But for some reason, I felt that tiger fighting was a good choice to do on this first week of November. So that's where our focus is going to be. We're going to start a little bit differently because there's something that I normally do in the public classes that I have not been doing in these live sessions. So I'd like to start with a little temple story, a little parable, and then we'll get into the rest of the session. And so that parable comes to us from the Karate Kid franchise. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the first movie, not the remake, but the actual first Karate Kid back in the 80s. And probably the second piece in the franchise, Karate Kid 2. You might have the unfortunate circumstance of knowing that there's a Karate Kid 3, and that's all I'll say about that. But there's also, it's not called Karate Kid 4. It's called The Next Karate Kid. You know, within the franchise, it's pretty good. I like it. But I especially like this story. Mr. Miyagi tells it. I'm not going to do a Mr. Miyagi impersonation, but there's sort of a little bit of his speech pattern. I kept, when I adapted it for the classroom, I sort of kept a little bit of his speech pattern to it. So anyway, there was once a very bad-tempered bull that lived in a pasture near a small village. He was very bad-tempered. Didn't matter who you are, if you crossed his path, he would chase them. He chased children going to school in the morning, and he chased the children coming home from school in the evening. He chased women going to market. He chased farmers. No one from the small village or the surrounding countryside could escape the bad bull's wrath. Then one day, there was a big festival in the small village. Everyone, every man, every woman, every child, every farmer, everyone from the small village and the surrounding countryside, very happy. On that day, very bad bull became very good tasting soup. So there you go. So some details about the Tiger Frolics before I stand up and get to the warm-up and to the Tiger Frolics themselves. If you've been following this series, you know that it's very important for us to focus on the nature and the spirit of the animal. Sorry, this whole take two thing, I'm going through my head, and I was like, I've already said that. What do I need to say now? But I haven't said it in this take two, so that's why I'm sort of stumbling over my words. But anyway, the nature and the spirit of the animal. And the nature of the tiger is its great power and strength. And the spirit of the tiger is its fierce intensity that sort of surrounds a certain inner softness. The way I like to talk about the spirit of the tiger is if you ever see a tiger and they're young. Very loving family picture from this huge, great, ferocious kitty cat. So that's throughout the play, you want to keep it in mind that great power and strength, the fierce intensity surrounding certain inner softness. Now, each of the frolics have their therapeutic qualities, and the tiger frolics are used for pulmonary function and issues surrounding pulmonary function. So lungs, very important. If you know me, you know why I say that. Plus, dealing with challenges with arthritis, and I'm sure there's no one in the audience that has any challenges with the symptoms and the ramifications of having arthritis. So there's that. The movement really focuses on the extremities with great intent, but without tension. All of the movement should have a certain feline grace. And the other points, we'll talk about the chi visualization, the breath, once we get up on our feet and start to actually break down what the tiger frolics are supposed to be in the Buddhist aspects. That's sort of the external, the thought process aspect of the frolic. The Taoist aspect is actually becoming the tiger, which is easier said sometimes than done. So, you know, people commented as the first version of this was online that, oh, you know, it's darker. And it's, yeah, it's because for some reason Facebook queued up the integrated camera on the laptop instead of the HD. This version, I'm on HD, so it should be a little bit brighter. Oh, I forgot this week's t-shirt. There's the front. 2020, we're in this together. That's actually a song lyric from, believe it or not, 9 Inch Nails. Not the 2020 part, just the we're in this together. And we'll find a way through somehow. So new t-shirt to the collection. I am still really short of original t-shirts for these Monday morning sessions. So eventually we're going to start doubling up a little bit. So I mentioned we have sort of a standard warm-up for animal frolics. We really want to focus on protecting the knees. There's a movement in the primary movement, regardless of the animal, in the frolics involves one foot facing 145 and turning the upper body to another 45. So you don't want to pull that knee sideways. So we want to be very mindful of our knee to toe orientation. And this kind of training that we do in advance and retreat from the 9 temple exercises is very important, sort of setting up that mindfulness for when we get to the actual frolic itself. So feet shoulder wide, close, let me start that again. They don't have to be shoulder wide, but shoulder wide or a little bit wider. You want to feel the separation between the upper body and lower body, so you're not pulling the knee and twisting the knee. Knee awareness, very important here, very important in the 5 animal frolics. I did a lower body workout for the first time on Thursday, and let me tell you some of the things in that particular workout. I'm glad I spent a lot of time being aware of my knees, because I got through the workout and almost surprisingly, I didn't tweak my knees at any time, especially my right one. So we want this separation. We're going to be looking in a direction while the toes and the knees stay forward. So we're going to be looking to the left, looking to the right, turning the torso to the left, to the right, while not twisting the knees. So we want that separation here. So, you know, maybe you're already very mindful and you settle your weight in your left foot and turn and look to the left and not worry about pulling your knees that way. Others may have to, you know, sort of settle the weight, still staying forward, and then start turning their waists to a certain degree. And then when they start to feel that first band sort of get to its full range of motion, start to pull the hips. Then move it up a little bit, sort of mid-torso. See how far you can turn there before turning into the lower portion, which then turns the hips. Then the shoulders and the chest and the upper spine twist. And then whenever you need to get your head facing that direction, so maybe you have no real mobility in the spine at all, so all you're doing is shifting all your weight into that left foot, turning maybe a little bit of the shoulders, and then finishing it by looking to that side. So do what you have to do to protect the knees, keep the knees forward with the toes. Settle the weight into the left. We're going to do retreat first. So I'm going to give some image about the breath and sort of the image focus. Boom. Going to turn again, lower, mid, upper, head. So the weight's in that foot toward which, the direction towards which I am looking. And maybe when I shift, maybe I'm going to inhale. And when I turn on an exhale. But breathe when you have to. But the image itself is kind of important because it's, it's the yin-yang thing. Something is expanding, something's coming toward me. I am opening up, I'm becoming yin. I am compressing, giving it room to expand. I am retreating. You may also want to pay attention to what parts of you are advancing while you're retreating. All the weight stays in that leg now. Now I turn while keeping the weight there and look to the opposite wall, and then I move away from it because something's expanding. That's one pair. We're going to do 6. Turn, maybe an inhalation, or shift, sorry. Now turn, maybe an exhalation. Shift, turn, that's 2 pairs. Shift, turn, toes and knees, stay forward, shift, retreating, and turn, 3 pairs, shift, turn, shift, 2 distinct moments and movements, turn, shift, turn, shift, 5 retreat pairs, and turn, last time retreating in the first direction, turn, last time retreating in the second direction, hold, don't turn. Because, of course, now it's the other side of the coin. We've done retreat, now we're going to do advance. So I'm still going to push off on the left and fill the right, but I'm going to be looking in the direction I am moving. I might want to reverse the breath pattern. I might want to exhale now on the shift and inhale on the turn, but breathe when you have to. Regardless, you see, they are becoming yin. The energy is compressing, and we're expanding into the space that has opened up. But you might want to just think about it a little bit, contemplate how parts of you are advancing or retreating as you are advancing. 3, 2, 1. Shift and turn. Shift. Now I'm looking in the direction I'm moving. I'm advancing and turn. Maybe an exhalation on the shift and inhalation on the turn. And generally, shift and turn. When I'm not gesticulating while I talk, shift and turn. I just let my arms hang. Shift and turn. Some people will assign movement to the hand. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. I think that was 4, but we're going to call it 3. Shift and turn. Same thing happened. Shift and turn and take 1. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. One more pair just for good measure. Shift and turn. It's probably another bonus. Shift. Now this time when we turn forward and double weight the feet. Weights equally distributed between the 2. Advance and retreat. Focusing on the knees. Very, very important for the animal frolics. So, with the tiger, sort of already talked, if you will, about the nature of the tiger, the spirit of the tiger, that great power and strength, the fierce intensity surrounding a certain inner softness. The movement should focus on the extremities with great intent, but without tension. There should be a certain amount of feline grace to the movement. If you don't know what that might mean, yeah, you can watch a tiger documentary, but if you happen to have a cat, you sort of have your own little house tiger. Believe me, they serve as a great a great example to what it means to move with feline grace most of the time, unless they're sleeping, which is what, 18 hours a day. But anyway, so the chi focus, actually, as we're doing advance and retreat, we're focusing on this belt channel and activating the belt channel, which is right across here, and sort of facilitating a connection between the Xiadantian acupuncture point and the Ming Men point. And for us, those points are in equivalent position, front and back. So where the Xiadantian acupuncture point is in front, on the spine, the Ming Men point is on the back. And that's important for the tiger frolics. It was just sort of a bonus because I wanted to focus on the knees in that exercise, but our minds are already sort of on that lower back, on the spine because of the twisting that we were just doing. That's where sort of your primary just under thought process focal point is for your chi focus for the tiger frolics is on that Ming Men point. The rest is on the inhalation. You're imagining, feeling, facilitating, manifesting sort of an emanation of chi from the Xiadantian, not the acupuncture point, but the actual esoteric vessel in the lower abdominal cavity, just sort of spreading out. And then on the physical exhalation, driving to the extremities. So it drives to the feet and to the arms and the hands. That's the chi focus. The breath, there's a little bit of, I won't say controversy, but there's a difference of opinion with the breath. Now, I know we normally have sort of a quiet, soft, relaxed breath in the Tai Chi that we do, but in the animal frolics, there's usually a sound created. You have your choice for the inhalation. I've run across material that has both what we might refer to as a yin inhalation or a soft inhalation in through the nose, and then the exhalation. And the other instruction is a very active inhalation, and regardless, both have a very active exhalation. The active inhalation, in through the teeth. So you can do soft, you can do that. Teeth together, draw in through the open lips with the teeth closed. That does activate the lungs, the diaphragm, a bit more. So experiment, your choice. The exhalation, I hesitated saying this because, my bread and butter are my library programs, but I sort of refer to the sound that we create on the exhalation in tiger frolics as a librarian with a little bit of attitude. Because you have your inhalation, soft, I'll do the soft, and the exhalation through closed teeth, tip of the tongue, on the roof of the mouth, sort of an SCH sound. It's not just shh, shh. A little much, too much SH instead of SCH there. That's the breath. Notice that I'm pausing between the inhalation and the exhalation. That's the other thing that's different with the animal frolics than what we normally do in most of our Tai Chi, well, all of our Tai Chi and most of our Qigong, is we're going to stop not only the breath, but the movement. So that's part of the challenge of the animal frolics. So there's the fact that it's good for pulmonary health as well as arthritis, the physical movement, feline grace, focusing on, great power and strength, if you will, of the animal with intent, but no tension, and focusing on the extremities, the chi focus, the breath. So I guess that sort of brings us to the movement. Now, the primary movement of the animal frolics is the same as we've done in other frolics. It's basically going to be stepping from the 45 to the 45 with some differences. So I'm starting with my weight on the right foot, facing the 45. I'm not going to talk about the upper body yet. And I'm going to turn to the opposite 45, set the ball of the foot. Now, we've done all sorts of different things with the back foot. This one's going to be different yet, but not from tiger walking all the way back to March 30th. I'm going to set the heel down, Shift the weight forward. This is the exhalation, by the way. And allow the back heel to rise, but not the ball of the foot. And then our inhalation, swinging that leg through to the next 45. We're not coming to here and then opening up as we've done in the past. Swinging, holding the breath, dropping the heel. Holding breath, holding movement. And ideally, the inhalation is done as the movement is done. Holding breath and movement. Switch to the heel. I'm going to do that harsh inhalation. I'm going to cut off my head here. Switch to the heel. I'm not trying to step shoulder width here. Step at a width that works for you. If you need your one more step, actually, sorry, two more steps. This is where we started. If you need to, not at the 45, but like a 30-degree angle, 25-degree angle, that's okay. Switch to the heel. Oops, didn't bring the heel off, but you can't see it. I could have not said anything. Little closing. I'm going to detail this because you can't really see it as I'm doing it, but I want to close. And that closing, you know, if you've been in the room with us at any point, you know subtlety of the Dantian from our Tai Chi Qigong breathing set. That's really the upper body movement. The animal frolics are general. Our approach, what Water Tiger School does with the animal frolics, is we do a circle walk, but we always start our training with the animal frolics in a linear fashion because they're easy. It's easier to follow. It's easier to learn. So what doesn't matter whether it's the circle or a straight line, what you do when you take your last step, and we want to balance the steps. So we start with a step to the left, we want to finish with a step to the right. I'm sure you've never heard me say that before. So on that last right step, as you finish it, you're going to bring in the back foot. You're going to turn to face the primary direction you're walking in. I know we're facing 45 and 45, but we're going straight forward. So the hands cease what they're doing. They open up like Porchi through the back way, up on the balls of the feet, down, and come to the Shia Dantian acupuncture point. And that's that. That's the closing. Take that last step, whatever you're doing, come in, up, boom. Hopefully you don't lose your balance as I just did. And that's the closing. This movement combined with that twist and facing the direction you're walking. A little bit more difficult in a circle to sort of picture what angle you should be at as you're walking the border of the circle, but it still works nonetheless. So that's the lower body. The upper body, depending upon where you are with the 24 posture form of Tai Chi, this movement may look familiar, or if you've ever seen like the 24 or the traditional long form in Gung style demonstrated. You may know Fair Lady weaves at shuttles, Fair Lady works shuttles, Fair Lady at shuttles. That ends in a position somewhat similar to this, sort of rounded up. You sort of have a blocking arm, you sort of have a striking arm. That's sort of the our upper body is sort of the in position of the upper body in tiger fighting. Now, a word about the tiger paws or the tiger claws. They're not this, right? They don't look like this. It's more like if you have a house tiger and you sort of do something to piss them off and they're like laying right there and they reach up a paw and touch your face and you can just barely feel the points of their claws sort of caressing your flesh. That's what you want. That's a slight extension. In between the end of that position and the down. You sort of keep them there. They don't really relax until they switch to the next side. They relax in the swing and then reactivate. Down, they're still there. It's like you're raking your claws down. They relax as you do the swing and move over to the other side. So that's the claws, that's the upper body. I'm going to do a freeze frame on that. So they start down, everything's facing the 45. Round and swing up, ball of the foot. Switch to the heel. Now, as I fill that foot, I'm going to turn to the next 45 in the upper body. So my hands, my claws are more or less right in front of me. Should have started this a little bit further back. Inhale, sort of fell into that step. Switch to the heel. Go ahead and close because feet and head are about off the screen. That's the movement. That's breath. That's movement. That's qi focus. Remember, Ming Men, inhalation, soft expansion of qi from the Xia Dantian, just sort of out. And on the exhalation, driving to the extremities, the claws, the feet. Moving with great intent, but no tension. If you're wondering what I'm doing every once in a while when I do that, I have a med ball that I set on when I'm at the screen, and sometimes it rolls a little bit back after I stand up. So again, I'm not stepping shoulder wide. Get a little bit closer again for a moment. So you can see by measuring shoulder width, yeah, not at all, right? And the other thing is we're doing the lower body. Yeah, I'm stepping pretty much 45 to 45. I'm comfortable with that. My knees are comfortable with that. But if you have to do something like that, I don't know, that's about a 35-degree angle, I imagine. Getting closer to 20. So some people with knee and hip issues can't have that their feet and be able to manifest that twist that we want at a 45. So if you have to be inside of that, okay. Yeah, there are folks who are going to say, no, it has to be the 45 or you can't do this exercise. I am not, obviously, one of those people. For some things I am. I mean, some things I do. It's like, if you can't do this, then you can't do, this exercise. But that is not one of them. That's not going to cause a disruption of the qi. So I'm just looking at the time because we started late because we were like 18 minutes after the hour when that one take one went south on us and Facebook threw us off. Anyway, I want to get some practice in here. So it's nice to keep in mind that it's about pulmonary health. So experiment with that in through the teeth as opposed to the soft, gentle inhalation. And maybe, if it's taxing, do a few breaths through your teeth, inhale, and then exhale with the sound. Keep exhaling like that. That doesn't change. But then if it gets to be too much with the two sort of more intense breathing techniques, then switch to the soft inhalation in through the nose. And if things start to feel good, if you start to feel 100% again, it's like, okay, so maybe throw in a couple more breaths. So maybe shuffle them a little bit, or just stick with the nasal breath. It's not a bad thing. Remember, ideally, breath, movement, and then when I'm talking movement, I'm talking lower body and upper body, and the end of the breath should all be timed together. And it's not foot, hands, and oh yeah, I'm still inhaling. Okay, now I'm done with the inhalation. It's inhalation, foot, hands, inhalation, foot, oh, and they're all done. So a certain whole body awareness is necessary in the animal frogs. And do a little shake. Sort of get in touch with my inner tiger. So I made a reference earlier about, the Buddhist aspects of the animal frolics as compared to the Taoist aspects. In this particular, not all approaches to animal frolics do that. And there are a lot. I mean, there are different 5 animals in some approaches. I've seen phoenix, I've seen dragon, I've seen serpent, I've seen leopard, I've seen, did I say phoenix? I think I said phoenix. And others. And there are some that don't walk as we do. By the way, you know, when I've presented this in sometimes in the past when we were doing Tai Chi in the park or at past World Tai Chi days, never fails. There's somebody at the event that'll come up after I do the presentation. It's like, I'm not familiar with that kind of Tai Chi. Because it is quite Tai Chi-like, but it is not. It is moving Qigong or energy work. So focus on the Ming Men, soft emanation out, driving to the extremities on the exhalation, getting in touch with the inner tiger. All of those aspects, chi, movement, breath, even the nature and the spirit of the animal, are considered the Buddhist aspects, or the external components. The internal component, the Taoist, is becoming the animal. I am not, what would I do if I were a tiger in these given circumstances? I am the tiger. I'm sure somebody out there in their home as they're watching this probably just suddenly channeled Eye of the Tiger from, what was that, Rocky 2? Might have been Rocky 3. 3, 2, 1. Hold, breath, and movement. Switch to the heel. Turning to the next 45 as you're raking the claws down. Hold. Swing into the next position. Inhalation. Do a soft inhalation while I was talking. Set the heel down. Hold, breath, and movement. And back to the Eye of the Tiger thing, inhalation. The eyes actually become the windows to being able to see the animal. Yes, it's in the movement. Inhalation. Claws, not claws. Claws with the points of the claws right at the edge of their sheaths. Oops, I was going to do the harsh inhalation there. Switch. There it is, in through the teeth. Holding breath and movement. Setting the heel down, filling that front foot. Back heel comes up off the ground. Ball of the foot very grounded here. Feel that feline stretch through the body. Notice I still have those very active hands. And then they release and snap into place. I know you can't see them, but they're snapped into place. This is the last step. So my toes are to the right 45, my eyes and torso oriented toward the left 45. But I release, bring the back foot in, palms up. Maybe an inhalation, palms down, maybe an exhalation to breathe when you have to when you close. And that little rebound. And there's one pass. We'll take a few more steps. Shake that out. So pulmonary health, issues, challenges with arthritis. Remember keeping your mind on the great power and strength of the tiger. That's its nature. Its spirit is a fierce intensity surrounding a certain inner softness. The movement should You should focus on the extremities with great intent, but without tension. And there should be, you know, a certain feline grace within your movement. The chi focus, the Ming Men point, just, you know, you keep one inner eye, if you will, one thought, one intent on focusing on that point on the lower back. While on the physical inhalation, either the soft in through the nose or the driven through the just open lips and in through the teeth, there's the chi sort of expands, an emanation, if you will, from the Shiadantian, not the acupuncture point, the actual esoteric channel vessel that's on the line between the crown point of the head and the base of the pelvic bowl, in the belly, in that cup, if you will. And then on the physical exhalation, the driving to the extremities, the arms, the forearms, the hands, the ankles, the feet. I think that's, yeah, that's it. So, and I get the breath. Breath, yes. Shake out. We'll take, I don't know, about 4 pairs of steps here, I think. Remember, if you can, it's 45 to 45. Ball of the foot, switch to the heel, filling that front foot, rolling back in ball, instep, heel, or ball, sorry, heel, instep, ball after you switch, because you're on the ball, you switch to the heel, instep, ball, and the back heel comes up. And you're turning to the opposite 45. So as I'm doing the detail, it's the thing that I always skip. Boom. Which again is tricky on that knee. So starting neutral, getting in touch with my inner tiger. Just 4 pairs here, so 8 more steps, and we'll call it a morning. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to start with the soft inhalation. All the movement, all the breath is done at the same time. Hold, switch to the heel. Ball the back foot down, heel up. Another soft inhalation for me. Switch to the heel. Turning to the opposite 45 as that foot fills. And by the way, how you can swing that foot without falling over is crown point of the head, base of the pelvic bowl. If you're not already over the ball of the foot, as soon as that foot releases, you settle into your vertical alignment. Switch to the heel. Step 3, go into 8. Back to the soft. Just lightly form claws. 4. Elbow drop, not up. Rounded. Switch to the heel. Holding, switch. That was 6, just 2 more steps. To the heel. Become the tiger. Last step. Hopefully it was better than the one I just did. Switch to the heel. Turning the opposite 45, even though this is the last. Hold. Turn and face the front, the hands release. Up on the balls of the feet, palms up, palms down. And a little rebound. So there you go. Tiger fighting. The 5 animal frolics. It's the second time we've visited the tiger. It's the second time we visited this particular session this morning, which is why I was a little off my game. I allowed that to throw me off, so, bad me. And I don't think there's anybody here with me now. So hopefully as the day unfolds, people will find this, especially if they were participating in the first one and didn't come back when we started the second one. So it'll exist on Facebook for an unknown period of time. We haven't deleted any of the Facebook Live sessions. And by the way, the event on the 30th, on March 30th, the first one, Tiger Walking, wasn't actually a live video. It was pre-recorded. Gee, there's symmetry, I just realized, because there was an issue with Facebook on the 30th, and I ended up doing a recorded session and posting it later in the morning because of that issue. So it won't be in the live file, but it'll on the Facebook page, but it'd be in the video listings. In March 30th, it was Water Tiger for Sachem, Tiger Walking, and this was Tiger Biting. So that leaves us with 3 tigers, and we may get to them eventually as long as these sessions continue. We like switching back and forth, and I like switching back and forth between the animal frolics and maybe some different things, Qigong and Tai Chi. But next week we'll be back with another Tai Chi presentation. All things being equal, we should be here. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't, if you jumped into this later, and again, I don't think there's anybody here, so I think I'm talking to nobody. You might enjoy the little story at the beginning, because I don't usually tell temple stories in this environment. So there you go. Thanks for joining me. Mask up, please. We'd like to get to the other side of this. Like to not have to do these live sessions anymore. Would like not to have to have a blended program in the studio. Plus, I'd like the studio program to stay alive. Or at least the possibility of having a blended program instead of having to go all the way back into remote again. We need to do what we need to do. This is a matter of public health, excuse me. We need to get on top of it. So I'll get off my soapbox, or I guess my med ball, and let you all go. So stay safe, and you will see me next time. Ta.